All right, I think it's day 90. We just got dropped off at West Branch Road. Gonna have a very short walk, 1.6 miles, to our first stop, which will be the famous Cookie Lady, also known as Cookie Lady 2.0. And for those who don't follow all things AT, she has a place, I think it's like a blueberry farm, that if you pick blueberries, sometimes you get food. I don't know. But anyways, she hands out cookies and tea to the hikers, and provides also some other things like charging and stuff like that. Anyways, pretty cool, right? So we'll see that, check that out. Not sure what that's like at 8 o'clock in the morning, but we'll see. So one minor disadvantage of hoteling while you hike the AT, and this is truly a first world problem kind of a thing, but when you're in a tent and you pack all your stuff up, you can look around and go like, well, I've got everything that I came here with. But in a hotel, you kind of unpack and explode your stuff around, and then you got to remember to get everything that you want again the next morning. So this morning, I left my hat back at the hotel. And for those following, you know I use my hat for bug protection and also for sun protection. So I'm going to have to just do without for the day. Well, that Cookie Lady did not disappoint. That was pretty cool. Cool place. Probably a really cool lady. And yeah, so we Venmo'd her a donation. And I think Buzz picked up a bandana from her. And I got a cookie. Cookie was good. So their blueberry picking starts tomorrow. If we were still here, I wouldn't mind doing that. A lot of bushes with big fat blueberries on them. Anyways, that was our Cookie Lady experience. I'm glad we did it. We debated because it was raining, but we got lucky when we started walking down the road and the rain stopped. So yeah, on that weather note, we have been dealing with some rain this morning. Probably more later today. Probably a storm coming in this afternoon, and maybe also most of tomorrow, but we'll see. Right now, to me, we're kind of in that middle ground with rain. It's a little fall of rain, and not enough to get really wet. A lot of it gets stopped, at least for now, by the leaves. I'll see when the leaves get totally drenched, that doesn't work as well, but yeah, so I'm getting a little wet, but not quite enough to justify stopping and changing into rain gear, because when you put in the rain gear on, you'll sweat, it's hot, and you'll get wet on the inside. So it has to be quite a bit of rain for me to want to do full rain gear, mainly to protect electronics and other things too, which so far I haven't had to worry about. It's just been this pleasant little rain. Yeah, the bugs are bad. Bad. They're all over, these eastern newts. Let me give you an example. There's one. There's another. There's another. So you can see there's just like 3 and 10 feet. 4. Other. All right. We're at Warner Hill. Oh, Buzz is here. not a lot of you. Check out all these ferns. I mean, we've seen a lot of ferns, but this is a thick field of them. It's cool. And it just goes on. Check it out. And some of these ferns are pretty high. Yeah, I forgot to mention that when talking about all the stuff my wife's up to, is that she's also in her spare time running to be a Democratic state representative in Tennessee, which is kind of cool. Cool little stream down there with some waterfalls. One of the advantages of a supported hike with a van like that is we get to heat up leftovers, so you just finish lunch and eating some of the leftover from the Thai restaurant last night on rice all heated up. It was very good with a Coke on the side. Yeah, pretty happy. We get to hike on. So our post-lunch hike, I always kind of like to divide these into two if we have a lunch break. Our post-lunch hike is a relatively short one. It's 4 miles total. And I think the last mile or two is a city walk. We end up down in a town. So, yeah. As mentioned, we're walking by this stream. I don't know if you can really see it through the trees, but it's pretty cool. And check it out. You got these two streams. A little bridge to cross. There's a stream coming down there and a stream coming down here, and they join and go down there. My favorite part of the hike so far, the ground is spongy soft, covered in pine needles, and not many bugs, so it's glorious. All right, we've been doing a little bit of the wet rock scrambles, and now these are just rock stairs. They're cool, they're flat. But we're just over a mile out from the railroad tracks, which I assume are going to be pretty much at a lower level with the city that we're going into, the town of Dalton, Massachusetts. All right. All right, it's pretty much the start of our Dalton road walk. Cute area, cute homes. Especially like this one because it's got a 3-car garage. Nice. Interesting, we're walking down this street and I thought we were just going to keep walking. I see the sign and the 2 blazes on those 2 telephone poles and I'm like, wait, do we turn here? Check it out. I see a blaze on that telephone pole too. So far this little town of Dalton is pretty cool. I like it. Like a lot of the architecture too, a lot of the homes. It's probably more of a New England thing, but yeah, it's kind of cool. I like it. All right, that's a pretty long road walk we've been doing. Down to point 2 to go. This reminds me of when we were in Fort Clinton. Yeah, Port Clinton. I think it was. Yeah, that was really long. You went all the way through the town. Same here with Dalton. So the van's parked just on the outskirts where we ended one of our hikes. This will now join together and finish all the segments of Massachusetts south of Mount Greylock. So that'll be good. And you see the view of a tired hiker with weary feet, and you see the silver van in the distance. You're like, oh God, there it is. Woo! All right, this will end our hiking day, I think. Yeah. So, one other issue I've been dealing with. So, you know, for those who've been following a while, you know that I planned out this entire thing on a spreadsheet. And for the long time, many days, actually to my surprise, it was pretty accurate. You know, we tracked pretty close. We weren't that far off. And, you know, like maybe a day off from our original plans. But then work happened. And that totally changed everything. So I got an email, one of my main clients. In fact, the first one I had promised I would actually do just a little bit of work while I'm on trail, so don't worry about it. And then flooded me with work, you know, which, you know, is not his fault. It's nature of the beast, you know. So he contracts for this military stuff, and, you know, we get shipped a lot of stuff all of a sudden. Whereas January, February, March was almost zero. And then once I got on trail, it just was a little bit and then a lot. So right now it's a lot. Anyways, when I first started, he was panicked about me going on the trail and me being his single resource. And he doesn't want to use anybody else to do what I do. And, you know, the loyalty's awesome. But he said, well, when are you going to finish? And I look at my spreadsheet. And really, it was the end of September, but I just basically said September because I knew he was panicking and I just wanted to make him feel better. So in his brain, he was like, okay, he'll finish in September. And maybe in his brain, that was September 1st, whereas in mine, it was like September 29th was my actual date. But cool. I figure once you get to September, it's, you know, if it ends up being the end of September, he's like, oh, you're only 3 or 4 weeks away, and I can live with that. Anyways, I had told him, like, oh, hey, doggy. So, anyways, I told him I had gone a little over a third of the way. He did the math in his head. Probably a little exaggerated, but he sent me an email kind of panicking. He says, you're not going to be done till December or January, which, yeah, I never really updated him on my anticipated completion date. So the main variable that has screwed things up is the fact that I'm doing work for him and a couple other people, but, you know, but him is my primary work focus right now. So on our original spreadsheet, you know, I was aiming for 16-mile days. That would end up putting us near a tent site or a shelter, and then another 16-mile days, you know, occasional hotels or whatever, hostels. But because we're working, we can't do that. So we've been looking at road crossings. And often the conversation goes like this. Well, your original plan called for a 16-mile day ending at this tent site, but the nearest road crossing is only 9 miles away. And if you don't do that road crossing, the next road crossing is 28 miles. So we do the 9 mile. Well, now you see you've already lost 7 miles of the plan. But you're in a hotel and then you could work for 3 or 4 hours. The other thing is that if I hike 16 plus hours, I'm probably not working. Or if I am, I'm not working much. And I still have to do the videos every day, right? And that takes an hour to an hour and a half. So, yeah, it's hard to... The impact of the work is really what has required us to stop at hotels, which changes our plans because we have to only do road crossings. Some areas, the road crossings have been quite a few. Good parking areas, it's been easier. We actually are going to be heading into a section once we cross over to Vermont where it's going to be much harder. And at some points will be impossible. we'll just have to suck it up and spend, multiple nights out in the woods, which is fine, except, of course, I'm not working. But we'll have to deal. Customers will have to deal. It just is what it is. Anyways, that has been the big impact of the schedule. We know we're not going to finish on September 29th. I'm hoping we can finish in October. One of my hopes is that work decreases, which I don't know if is maybe overly optimistic, probably is, but that's my hope. And that we can start putting in bigger miles, especially in Virginia. But we'll see.